The world will reward you in proportion to your courage, not your intellect. The most dangerous person in the world is the one who continues to show up every day, even when the rewards are not guaranteed. Your potential is determined by the amount of uncertainty you're able to tolerate and how long you can tolerate it for. You can beat 99% of people if you can master the shame of rejection, the boredom of repetition, and the pain of feedback.
I was asked, if you could transfer only one trait to your son, what would it be? And I really thought a lot about it. And I was like, of all the traits, what would I transfer? And I think it's courage. Because if you don't have courage, nothing else matters. Like you can't take any action. You can't do anything worth doing. You can't stand for anything because you have no courage. And so I think that's why it's so much more preferable to be a failure than a coward. And I think that I would hope that I could transfer just that lesson and try and reinforce as many times as I can in his upbringing that like, you have to take jumps and you have to lose and you have to be willing to lose, and then realize that losing doesn't actually make you a loser, because losing is the first signal on the path to winning. But like not playing is the actual signal for a forever loss.
What is courage to you?
It's a really good question. I need to define it better. Being willing to take action where there's a large short-term cost with an uncertain delayed benefit. So if you want to start a business and you think that you're going to get made fun of or snide remarks or like, oh yeah, you're doing your podcast thing again. Oh yeah, don't miss out, right? Don't want to miss Friday night because it's your big podcast. You're going to suffer that short term. That's a known cost. And then the payoff is delayed and uncertain. Like not only will it come later, if it were guaranteed, if you knew you were going to make $1 million doing a podcast, then you'd be like, whatever, fuck it. Like it takes significantly less courage. But I think it's the fact that it is unknown and delayed. So you basically have to be willing to get kicked in the nuts and multiple times and sometimes for extended durations before the hope that you will get something. But I think the only way to get through that kind of kicked in the nuts period for however long it's going to be, is realizing that you have two paths. One that is guaranteed, which is that the path you're currently on will not get you where you want to go. And the other path, it is not guaranteed to get you where you want to go, but it's the only one where you have a shot where you do.
And that's where your potential is determined by the amount of uncertainty you're able to tolerate and how long you can tolerate it for.
And I think that also goes to the bigger the games we play, right? Like the longer the game you play, the bigger the game you play. And so if you want to create rockets that go to the moon, you have to be able to deal with uncertainty for just an absolutely absurd amount of time compared to most humans on any endeavor.
There's a line at the end, pain of feedback. I'm interested in that.
I mean, rejection hurts, failing hurts. And I think when you give it your all and then the market, society, the universe, whatever, determines that you are still not enough, that is very painful. I think that in time, you learn that feedback is fuel rather than failure. And once that new association gets paired, I mean, you've had plenty of incredibly successful people on this podcast, and I would say many of them have this same kind of, I would call it lesson, is like, it's not failure, it's feedback, or it's not failure. But it just means that like fundamentally they have a different pairing for losing. And so everyone has to go through this because like losing is good. And feeling bad about losing is good because it forces you to change. And that change means that over time, as long as you're changing in the correct direction, you get better.
Or else you would continue to do the strategy that caused you to lose last time and you would just run it back again.
And this is why I have this like, I thought on the way over here, I was thinking about this, and like, I think one of the big losses or failures of society right now is that we are trying to castrate the teeth from the pain of loss. We're trying to not allow kids, people, the feeling to feel bad. It's like we have determined that feeling bad is bad, but feeling bad is not bad. Feeling bad is a signal so that we need to change. Because if no one feels bad ever, then it means that everyone is doing what they want to do all the time, and that is not how a functioning society works. Sometimes people do stupid shit and need to know and feel bad for it.
Eventually, reality is going to come into contact with your decisions.
Yes.
And the more that that's put off, the less likely you are to come up with a way to avoid that reality coming into reality.
And so the way that, right now what's going, and this is probably the more frightening part about like some of the media that's out there, is like trying to just redefine reality and create a fantasy where you losing and you feeling bad isn't true, but it doesn't change reality. It just changes someone's perception of it for the short term, and then they have to pay reality back with interest and time. And like the check always comes due. It's just like the interest is much bigger. And so in light of, my son, my child that I have in the future, like I want him to experience the pain of loss so that he can learn. Because like, how else can you learn? You have to. Otherwise, it's everything's quote, going by feeling. And then also somehow thinking that feeling bad is bad. And also that feeling good is good. And there's tons of things that you can probably do that feel good that are not good. And there's tons of things that you can do that feel bad that are not bad.
Well, what a gift to give somebody to say you can feel bad and not feel bad about it.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like you lost. What will we learn? What will we do next time? Great. Do it again next
time. That feels like resilience.
Yeah.
As opposed to any time that you feel this emotion, which is negative, that is worthy of rushing in and panic and control and distance. That's almost like a formula for fragility.
So laddered onto this, I know we haven't talked about, so this is fun. Is the idea that we need to, like, that because you feel bad, it means that the path that you're on, like, you need to change something. And so it's equal opposite, which is like, okay, if we know that we're on the path getting kicked in the nuts right now, and I know I'm on my 17th or 100th podcast and I'm still not like a millionaire yet. I have not achieved what I want yet. It does not mean that I have to change course.
But earlier on, you said that bad feelings, feeling bad, are important to update the way that you're approaching this situation. So how do you distinguish between the two?
No, and that's and I would say what you hit on is the crux of it, which is judgment, which is like, and this is one of the hardest ones, is like, how do you help someone recognize patterns of when you need to, basically it's the eternal question of when do I push and when do I pivot? Right? When do I push through the hardship versus when do I adjust?
Am I giving up on this set in the gym because I'm being a pussy, or am I giving up because I'm about to injure myself?
Yeah. And so
pivot. I like that.
Yeah. And I've worked with this a lot because it's a pretty classic entrepreneurship issue of like, do I have product market fit, or like, do I need to just keep pushing? Where am I just trying to push up a hill? Is that if one of the fundamental assumptions that you began your quest with has been proven untrue based on the feedback, then that is where pivoting makes sense. So if you said like, I think that I'm going to create a doggy skateboard because I think that a lot of dog owners will want to buy skateboards for their dog. We'd be like, and I believe that the percentage, like, and I want to make $1 billion doing this. That would mean that there's this size of the market. This percentage needs to be the take rate in order for me to get that market share. It's like, okay, if I talk to 100 dog owners and none of them want to buy my doggy skateboard, I would not say that is a push situation. I would say that is a pivot situation because our fundamental assumption that we started this quest with is false. And so we need to take that feedback and then pivot. If, as we're going through, they're saying, maybe, but like, I don't know what you have in your hands. What the hell is that? So it's like the assumption is not proven, but it's more of an execution issue. And so it's like, okay, I just need to get better. I need to push through. But it's like, it is definitely one of the harder lines to know, like, when should I push, when should I pivot? What lesson do I learn from losing? Because losing teaches you shit, and we just need to make sure that we learn the right thing. Like, teaching will occur.
Yes. Whether you take it away or not is up to you.
I hired my first employee and he was a fuck ass. Therefore, all employees suck. Right. So like losing will teach you something. It's just want to make sure that we learn the right lesson.
I feel like this is a justification for making early decisions as right as possible.
Oh, 100%.
To try and avoid that PTSD of, it's far easier to learn something than it is to unlearn something. Probably 100 times easier to learn something than it is to unlearn something. If you've drilled a particular habit, particular bad habit, if you have come up with a mode of interacting with your employees or the world, because all of your employees, the first 3 employees, you get all of them fucked you over. Mm-hmm. And then finally you get to the 4th. You have to unlearn all of the compensatory mechanisms that you built on the first 3. Now that you've got someone who's worthy of that and you're restricting their progress, you're slowing everything down, you're being hypervigilant, it doesn't feel like a good place to work. Try and make your early decisions right.
Yeah. Changing a behavior with a long history of reinforcement is harder than changing one with no history.
You're such a hardcore behaviorist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the only thing that's made sense to me in the world. Like, it's
Skinner pilled.
I mean, it's just my reality. So I'll say it differently. Like, many people do not get what they want. They look up at their lives and they're like, this is not what I want. And so if you don't have what you want, it means that the model that you view the world through is incorrect, or you have the correct model and the incorrect variables or insufficient variables. It's basically all it is.